Hi everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of our podcast for people around the world who want to improve their English and learn a bit about life here in the UK. This is a live English conversation, so there'll be lots of ers and ums, as well as some sentences that aren't completely grammatically correct. But it is how native English speakers talk with each other, and so it'll be great to improve your understanding of natural English. There's a guide you can download for free in the description, which will cover lots of the vocabulary used in today's podcast. But if you're already a member of our community, this will be sent straight to your inbox. Hi, I'm Steve, your host, and today I've got Kerry with me.
Hi there.
And we also have Greek Guy, who's originally from Greece, but now lives in the UK.
Hello.
Later on, we've even got a live call all the way from Texas in the United States of America, so stay listening for that. Now, Kerry, what's the theme for today?
Today, we'll be answering questions people have sent in about visiting the UK. It's all about breaking down those British stereotypes and giving practical advice.
Sounds good. Let's kick off with the first question.
This question is from C in China, who asks, is it true it always rains in England?
Oh, that's a classic. It might feel like that sometimes, but hang on and I'll look up the actual statistics. Here we go. London has about the same amount of rain as Berlin in Germany, but it's actually drier than Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And Tokyo, wow, that has way more rain than London.
So in Tokyo, it must be raining cats and dogs then.
Oh, please don't say that.
What? It's raining cats and dogs.
Yes, hardly anyone in the UK actually says raining cats and dogs. It's one of those expressions that for some strange reason English learners often get taught, but we hardly ever use it. Or at least people here haven't said it for 100 years or so.
I don't think I've ever heard it in real life.
So what do people say instead?
I use it's pouring down, or even just it's pouring.
I would say it's teeming.
I like that one. It's steaming.
Now you sound like a real Brit.
So to answer C's question, it doesn't rain as much in the UK as people say.
Except in the Lake District. Every time I go there on holiday, it teems.
I forgot about that.
Where is the Lake District?
It's a beautiful area in the northwest of England, and there are lots and lots of lakes, mainly because it rains so much.
They say if you don't like the weather there, just wait a minute and it'll change.
But it is lovely. All right, next question.
This one's from Lily. She didn't say where she's from, but she's coming to the UK for 2 weeks and wants to know if it's worth visiting places outside of London.
Okay, let me start by saying I totally understand that if you're coming for your first visit to the UK, you definitely should visit London. It's one of the greatest cities in the world, full of history, Buckingham Palace, Big Ben. Lots of things to see and do. But you can see most of what you need to inside of maybe 3 or 4 days. After that, you really should go exploring across the whole of Britain.
What will be your top 5 places to visit?
First, I would jump on a train and come up to Liverpool. It has the friendliest locals, great museums, and so many historic buildings that lots of famous movies have been filmed there, like Harry Potter, Batman, and Sherlock Holmes.
You are a little biased though, seeing as it's your hometown.
That's true, but it really is fantastic. Plus, it's such a great place to use as a base to explore the rest of the UK from. For example, you're a quick train ride to cities like Manchester or Leeds. A bus will take you to see the Roman city of Chester, which also has an amazing zoo.
You could also hop on a plane and be in Scotland in less than an hour. Glasgow's a lovely place to visit.
If you go to Scotland, do you need a passport?
No. Once you're in the UK, there are no passport checks between England, Scotland, Wales or Northern Ireland. but it's always wise to carry it anyway, to be on the safe side.
So far, we have in our top 5 Liverpool, Chester, Glasgow. Where else?
Honestly, I would go on a ferry to Belfast in Northern Ireland and visit the Titanic Museum. It's something I've always wanted to do and have never got round to.
You can't leave Wales out either.
I was just coming to that. I would finish my trip in Wales, which is probably the most beautiful country in the United Kingdom.
I agree.
The land of castles and dragons. So to answer the question, please don't come all the way here and stay in London. You'll always regret not having a proper look around.
Our next question comes from Fred in France. He asks, is England safe to visit?
The short answer is yes, very safe. If you're not daft, England is one of the safest places to travel. Plus, if you do need help, we have a great police force and healthcare system. Okay, next one.
Neelan from Canada asks, is the UK as expensive as everyone says?
I'm afraid that depends on where you go and what you do. For example, if Lily, the lady who asked the previous question, just stays for a fortnight in London, then she is going to spend a lot more than someone who stays in, say, Newcastle, which is another great city, by the way. What do you think, Greek guy?
I was surprised that some things like travel and clothes can be cheaper than in other countries.
That's true.
And if you eat where locals eat, it's very affordable.
Like Greg's.
Now you have to explain what Greg's is.
Greg's is a little slice of heaven. It's a chain of bakeries that sell warm pastries that you eat while walking around the towns. I love Greg's.
Me too.
So to answer Nayland's question, especially if she's living in Canada, I doubt if she'll find much difference in the cost of living when she visits.
All right, now we've got a live question coming in from Luke, all the way from Fort Worth, Texas, America.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Luke.
Luke, what can we help you with?
I'm planning a trip to the UK soon and was wondering what sort of gifts or souvenirs I could bring back home. Also, what's the best way to see a city there? Should I explore on foot, take a bus tour, or hire a guide?
That's a great question, Luke. I've been lucky enough to visit a lot of places in the United States myself, including going to a rodeo in Fort Worth. And I always try to pick up a t-shirt with the name of the place I was visiting. In fact, I'm wearing my LA t-shirt today.
He looks good. I might have to pinch that.
Kerry, what would you suggest for UK souvenirs?
Getting a t-shirt with the name of the place you visit is a great idea. And something a little different than the usual teddy bear dressed as an English palace guard.
I always take British biscuits with me when I go back to Greece. They taste fantastic, and you can get them in fancy tins.
Absolutely. And Luke, you could look at things like locally made items. In Scotland, you'll find wool scarves or other tartan clothes like jumpers.
Or even a bottle of whiskey.
Trust you to mention alcohol. In Wales, you'll find items made from slate.
They might be a bit heavy to carry home.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Another idea is a souvenir from a museum. Many have unique items that you won't find anywhere else.
As for seeing a city, it depends a bit on where you are. In London, a bus tour is a great way to get your bearings and see the main sights quickly. Then you can go back to the spots that catch your eye.
For smaller cities, I'd recommend walking tours. Places like York or Edinburgh have fantastic guided walks that really bring the history to life.
Spot on. Walking around lets you experience things up close, and it's worth checking online to see what's available before you arrive.
It may be cheaper to book that way as well. And don't forget bike tours, especially in cities with lots of green spaces, like Oxford or Cambridge.
So Luke, hope that helps. Go for a mix of iconic UK gifts, and for exploring, try a mix of tour buses, walking, and maybe a local guide.
Thanks, everyone. That's really helpful. Bye.
Bye, Luke. Right, who's next?
Sergey wants to know, when's the best time to visit the UK?
I guess most people would probably say the best time would be the summer. But although that is when you're more likely to get good weather, it's also the time when there are lots of other tourists around as well. And British children will be having their summer break, so everywhere is crowded, and most attractions have long queues.
Plus the prices will be at their highest.
Exactly. I think the end of October and the first week in November would be my choice. Everywhere will be quiet, lower prices, plus you get to see bonfire night, which is always great fun.
I never thought of that, but you're right. The 5th of November in Britain would be a great memory to have. Our last question is, I can't find out who it's from, sorry, but they ask, what's public transport like in the UK? Do you need to hire a car?
That's a great question. And as most people visit London, let's start there. And public transport is really good. My top tip is to buy an Oyster card, which lets you travel around by buses, trains and boats for a very reasonable price. Outside of London, things are a lot cheaper, of course, but the major cities are all linked really well, so getting around's a breeze.
We also have budget airlines like EasyJet, which can be a fast, economical way of travelling, especially going from, say, London to Edinburgh in Scotland, or Liverpool to Belfast in Northern Ireland.
Yes, I never thought of that. Flying's often a lot cheaper than going on the train. I can see we're just about out of time. If you like this podcast, please let us know in the comments, and if you want a question answered, just put that in there as well. But for now, it's goodbye from Kerry.
Bye.
And Greek Guy.
See you.
And from me, Steve. Ta-ra.